Just take a nice breath in. Exhale that breath. Just allow yourself now to relax more and more. Because from this moment in time, there's nothing of importance for you to do except relax. Relax.
Hello, humans. Welcome to Scarlett Shyo Season 3, Episode 4. This is your host. Oh my god, I almost died. Scarlett Santa Maria. And if you want to see me right now and my guest in the studio, go check out the live stream. Just search for Scarlett Shyo on Facebook. As some of you know, I took a trip to Europe for 17 days and I barely made it back on Monday night. I visited London, Amsterdam, Paris, Switzerland, and Italy. It still feels kind of surreal to be back, but I'm happy to be home and continue with the show, of course. It was an amazing and transformative experience. This trip taught me multiple valuable lessons, and I could honestly talk about it for hours, but I'm not going to do that. I know what y'all really want to know is about my nightlife adventures, so I'll briefly cover my top 2. The first one was in London on the night of my birthday. My group and I went to a club called Heaven, also known as the world's most famous gay club. And let me tell y'all, that place was so freaking awesome. Good vibes all around, really spacious, full of nice people with great music and visuals, and a super hot drag queen show. Everything that I needed on my birthday, for real. It was like Riches times 5. And I was kind of skeptical at first because it was on a Monday night, but I was pleasantly surprised with how busy it was. It was probably my favorite night. I wish I could go back. And second, I went to check out a techno event in Paris at this underground club called NF34. I went by myself and met some really cool people that made me feel really welcome. So go and do things by yourself, people. You're not going to die. I was blown away by this artist called Four Horsemen. His music was so dark and dirty, it felt my soul. Plus, he did live vocals, and I swear every time he screamed at that mic, I fell more and more in love. So definitely check him out. I wish I could share more, but I'm running out of time. I am strongly considering making a video about my journey, so let me know what you think. And now it's time to introduce my guest of the night, and his name is Wes Smith.
What's up, yo?
Hey, yo, welcome to the show. How are you doing tonight?
Awesome.
Have you been to any shows recently, or do you have any European story?
Yeah, I have some European story. I missed a flight there once.
Oh,
because
no.
I was out clubbing all night.
Oh, wow. Sounds like me, except I didn't miss my flight. I missed a tour because I was still sleeping from how hard I partied the day before.
I've played there a few times. There's some different parties, and once up in Manchester. It was a lot of fun. Once in London, once in Manchester. Good
That's
times.
awesome.
Did a video game project for some people in Liverpool.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So that's why I was over there cruising around. A lot of fun.
Yeah, you need to get a little closer to the mic, by the way.
Yeah.
Or you can move it. I don't want you to, break your neck. All right, so what genres do you DJ and produce?
Let's see. Well, there's like 5 genres mostly that I've DJ'd and produced. I'll start with the production side first, but I've done a lot of breakbeat work, some house music, glitch hop, drum and bass, and variations in between there, for sure.
A little bit of everything.
And the video game projects I've done about a little over 60 songs that have been in video game work.
Wow, that's really cool.
It's all dance music, yeah, and that tends to cross the genres much more than what I would probably DJ out.
So when did your DJing career begin?
About 1 million years ago. I don't know, like 30 years ago.
Wow, that's awesome.
Not quite that far. I think maybe you've had Oscar Poche on here before.
Not yet.
Oh, yeah,
I'm trying to get him in here.
I think he goes back further than I do, and we know each other from New York, but that'll be awesome if you get him on here.
Yeah.
But yeah, about 20 years.
Okay.
20 years.
So you started playing with vinyls back in the day.
Yep.
And you've witnessed the transformation of what it means to be a DJ now. What are your thoughts on the technological advances in DJing software and equipment? Do you see them as an advantage or disadvantage?
I think they're great. I love them. I love them all. I like the there's a few things I miss about vinyl, but I was never really a turntablist, so I don't really miss that part of it. Mm-hmm. There's some nice nostalgia with that, but we move on from that stuff, and there's all kinds of cool new stuff in the future too. So,
yeah, it's all about adapting, and my dad as well. He used to do with turntables and all that, and he's like, oh my god, now I have everything on like a USB drive and all, and
Yeah.
it's just pretty great.
No carrying records around.
Exactly.
It's mint.
So some music purists would say that it's making people lazy, but wouldn't it be the other way around? I think that DJs nowadays are expected to be producers as well, so they have to learn to work with that. They might not be carrying boxes of vinyls, like you said, but they have to spend countless of hours in the studio trying to come up with tracks.
Yeah, definitely. I think that you hit the nail on the head. Like, I would say the time that you wouldn't spend doing traditional beat matching and messing with all the vinyl and having to manually calculate BPMs or practice that kind of stuff. Of course, you can do all that like in a snap or like load it and walk away and let it render while you're gone or let it analyze. But that's where I think, and for me, certainly that's what pushed me further into the production side was at first just doing my own little edits. You know, I'd add intros to things, stuff like that, just so that I could mix them better. And then that just turned into making full original songs. So I definitely think that's where people can spend their time.
Yeah.
Or definitely be lazy.
Yeah. Or do both, you know, why not? So how did you know that you wanted to pursue a career in music?
Oh, I can't think that far back, Scarlett.
You gotta know.
There's certain parts of my brain that have just left, they've checked out. Yeah. I don't know. It was a long time ago. And you know, there's been a few times, I guess, where I, you know, thought I was crazy or why do I keep doing this? But then there was a point, maybe about 10 years ago, as important as like why I started doing it, which I can no longer remember, the fun of it and everything. But then, yeah, probably about 10 years ago, I just decided, you know what? As long as people will buy, stream, or go to a show, I'll keep doing it, you know? And so I think for me, that's important to say because I think I would lose a lot of the enjoyment if there weren't fans that have fun with the music, that go to shows and listen to music. And then also people that I've produced music with or collaborated with. If that piece wasn't there, I don't think I could be just a lone wolf, you know, for another 10 or 20 years.
Yeah, it's about all the connections you make.
It is a great connection thing, yeah.
Definitely. And I want to know the story behind Yo. How did you start implementing that in your branding? Because every time I hear Yo, I think of you, like, automatically.
Man, you got all the great questions tonight.
Yeah, I'm prepared.
Yeah, you know, it was like my recollection of the story is that I've got a good buddy that lives in San Francisco, this guy Dave Havate, and he actually, back in the vinyl days, was working at a record store and sold me my first some of my vinyl. He used to, like, back in the day, you'd have to have a good record shop you could buy from because they weren't everywhere. And so he was in Washington, D.C., and I'd call him up and he would needle drop sounds over the phone, and that's how you would buy records. It's crazy as that sounds, right? Yeah, because there was nowhere to buy them, then they would mail them to you. You know, this whole process. I don't miss any of that shit. But Dave's a great friend and came out of that, and he just always would be like, you know, yo, dog, and just that kind of guy, you know, always saying stuff. So when I was looking for social media handles, like maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago, to try to get them all the same, you know, like how hard that is to do.
Yeah.
Even if your own name is kind of different, someone's got it. You know, the world's online now. So, but yeah, that's how it came up. And I was like, I kept seeing people put like, you know, it's so-and-so or like some other suffix. And then I was going to do an album. So I was like, it's perfect time to switch the whole thing. I just called the album It's Wes Smith Yo.
Yeah.
And and it was a great album. And then I just switched all the handles and they kind of went along with the campaign. And I really didn't mean it to go actually beyond the album name. And then people would be like, I would be doing a show and someone would be like in a breakdown or something. And someone would shout out, like, you couldn't even see, like in the back, they'd be like, it's Wes Smith, yo.
Oh.
And I'd be like, I guess I'm keeping it now.
It just worked out. And it rolls out the tongue well. And it's, I remember it. I mean, I swear, every time I hear yo from anyone, I just automatically think of you.
Yeah.
So it's cool that
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool that it worked out. So something that I really like about you is your fun and chill attitude. You're really projected through your pictures and in real life also. What is the key to keeping an optimistic view about life?
Oh man, what's not to be optimistic about, Scarlett?
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yes.
You know, a quick bit on that. Like really, everybody has bad days and good days. And I know one of the big things about social media is, you know, you certainly don't want to live your life thinking that, you know, maybe whoever you follow, like if everything they do is like super over the top awesome, and then life is not that way. So
you can't
like,
compare yourself.
I think most of us are learning, like, you can't compare it to other things online or necessarily think that that's the only thing that person experiences. And that's probably true with all of us and me too. But I do try to for me, like I don't try to like overproduce or dress up like much of the content that I post. You know, I'm selective, but so that's that side of it. But you know, but I'm not doing photo shoots and you know like for that purpose. You know, I've done a few photo shoots for press and materials and stuff like that, but newspaper thing or whatever. A show like yours, for example.
Yeah.
But on the positive side, you know, like and kind of paralleling to social media, you know, it's like there's so much information in through social media, you can't possibly keep up with it all. And for me, it's kind of the same thing with life. Like there's going to be so many things that come at you, and you can choose to pick the positive ones or not, you know. And yeah, I have some tough days, but you know, I fight letting those tough days get to me.
Exactly.
You know, and then you just have to keep. It's like a bit of a struggle sometimes to be like, oh wait, going down the negative rabbit hole, gotta move over here again.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes that takes calling a person, a family member. My mom and I are real close, as you know.
Yeah.
And things like that. But very rarely do I like, you know, spray the bad times online. That the few times I have, it's never helped me.
Oh yeah, you
it's
told
just
me
never
about
helped me. You know, so if it helps you, I guess that's cool. But it doesn't help me, so that's why you don't see much of it.
It's great. I agree with everything you said
Yeah.
because life is such a roller coaster, and you can either like stick to like the negatives, or you can just keep going, keep moving forward, and look at all the positive things and be grateful. Yeah.
Well, and like my foot is a good recent example. We were talking. I won't get too far into this story, but I've got 8 stitches in my foot sitting here. I may be the first guest.
And
with
you're just
stitches
smiling.
at your
You're
show.
like, hey, it's gnarly. I don't know. I got my phone stolen, and I'm still had the best time. So I try not to focus so much on the negative stuff.
But I was so stoked, like my head didn't get hit or, you know, whatever, or something like that. And then I was just like, I was a good day and just had an accident, and it happened out surfing. And that's the way it goes sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
And also like, and then people were like crazy, like, why aren't you posting stuff online and this and that? I'm like, dude, I'm trying to like focus on getting my foot better.
I know, right? I need to tell everyone that my foot's all messed up.
There were people with me the day it happened that were like, did you take photos of all that? I'm like, no, man. I was like holding my leg above my head, riding in the back of a like van, trying to get to the emergency room.
I know, it's crazy
You
when
know?
I see people post pictures in the hospital, and I'm like, I do not want to post that ever.
I don't know. Yeah, I have a weird like. You ever watch the movie Apocalypse Now? Are you familiar with it? It's old.
I think I have. Yeah,
It's older than me and you.
Oh, okay.
and your parents probably.
Damn.
Yeah, but super old movie. It's about a lot of things. But it's like one of those epic like 3-hour long movies when they used to make like 3-hour long movies. Mm-hmm. And there's a part in there where Martin Sheen, Charlie Sheen's dad, so that's how old it is. He's the main actor in it as like almost not a teenager but young like guy in the infantry in the army. Anyway, there's a spot in there where they're taking pictures of these natives out in the jungle, and someone like talks about how they believe that taking pictures like steals your soul.
Oh yeah,
you know,
I've heard of that too.
And that's been in other movies too, but Lawrence of Arabia and other things like that. You know, these classic movies, this kind of witchcraft almost thing. So for me, when I was like sitting there, like I'm kind of person, I have a little bit of that maybe because when I got injured and bleeding everywhere and everything, and I was like, I don't want to take pictures, man, or post them.
Yeah,
That's like
it's
bad karma, man. I want my foot to get better first, and then maybe I'll do a recap.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You don't want all that extra energy.
Yeah.
Okay, so we totally went over time, but it's okay. What can I expect in the first half of the mix?
Oh, you can expect there's some. Well, the lead-off track is Disco Avenger. That's coming out soon. That's well, I did the original, and then there's 2 remixers, More Than Friends from Hood Politics, and then Cole Vassallo.
Hey,
some of you know. Yeah, man.
Wonderful.
So that's what's the first song on there.
So it's time for some music.
Sweet.
We'll see y'all in 10 minutes for the second part of the interview, so don't go anywhere. And you're listening to KCR College Radio, the award-winning sound of state. I'm going to steal your yo now.
Get it.
Get it. All right. Oh, that was such a good mix, for real. We're bumping it, even though we were talking about phones the whole break, but I was still paying attention to your mix. It's pretty great. But
it's yours, Scarlett.
Thank you. We're ready to continue the interview, but before, I have to do some quick announcements, as y'all know already. Fan of podcasts, make sure to tune in into KCR On Demand, the newest platform of entertainment for your radio hosts here at SCSU. Find us on Apple Podcasts and SoundCloud at KCR College Radio. And I just dropped some papers, sorry. North Parks Observatory is an amazing venue that you can win tickets to. So make sure to stay connected with us on social media to hear all about our ticket giveaways at KCR College Radio or via KCRLive.com. Lastly, the homies from Techniche are having another event this Sunday, July 14th at Rich's. Yes, it's finally Pride Weekend, and we're beyond excited to celebrate with you all. It is a day event that will go from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m., featuring all the resident DJs, including Mixoplix, John Bellotti, Josh Taylor, and Juggernaut. You can still get your pre-sale tickets at Rich's San Diego, so don't miss out. And I'm back with Wes Smith. And I'd like to know...
Juice.
Oh, Juice! You brought me a shirt? Whoa.
You're going to modify it.
Thank you. Yeah, and I love wearing black and red, my favorite colors.
I knew it.
Yes. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay, I'd like to know what inspires you to create music?
Traveling. I really think it does. Yeah, I get, as you know, I've been down in Mexico off and on this year, and I like to listen to a lot of different music. So, like, I went to a Maluma concert.
Oh my god!
In Monterey.
Oh yeah, I saw the disco ball like reflecting.
Yeah,
That was so cool.
The suits. Yeah,
yeah.
that one. And I'm just inspired by music. So, and when I travel is when I get to hear the most different styles that I might not normally or ordinarily listen to with my friends or peers. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's always something that I can take from everything and influence into whatever it is I'm into producing at the time.
I agree.
Yeah.
And how do you get in the zone when it comes to producing? I'm sure tequila helps.
How do you get in the zone? You just start. For me, I just have to get started. I open Ableton, and in Ableton Live, I like to work a lot in the session view, which is you can throw all these clips around, basically like looking at a spreadsheet almost of sounds, and then just starting there, and it gets me inspired and going.
That's cool.
Yeah.
By the way, how does it feel to be on the other side of the spectrum? Now it's me interviewing you after having me 2 times on your show.
I love it. It's great. Can we do it more?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it's awesome. Thanks for having me.
And for those of you who do not know, he's the host of the West Smith Variety Shyo.
Yeah.
Tell the audience what your show is about.
The Variety Show is, I started doing that. I was listening to podcasts a long time. I was really inspired by Joe Rogan and his podcast and a few others like him, but I would definitely have to say him. I'm a big fight fan, so that's how I kind of knew of Joe first and then the podcast. And I just like that open format, no language barriers, really nothing. It has to be any particular way.
Yeah.
And it's just different, but I like that format. And so we did episode 80. Was with you, or 79 was with you.
I was 79. Yeah, you just recently had one.
And Myron Eugene was after you. That was 80, and we'll keep rocking.
Okay. And how did you come up with the concept? You just you got inspired by those podcasts.
I stole it all from Joe Rogan.
Oh, really?
No, well, I mean, I already had my logo, this logo.
Yeah. And I love it. I just love that you use your face. I mean, it just works.
Yeah, but if you go look at the Joe Rogan podcast and you look at his logo, I didn't design anything because of that, but I really thought it was funny when I saw his logo. It's just so basic and kind of raw picture of just his head, like a caricature of his head, and I already had one, so it wasn't like I had to design it. I just had my designer do some lettering, and we're good to go.
Oh my god, it just worked out. Yeah. Look at you, you're just making moves.
Always.
So what is it that makes the variety show special?
Well, we get to highlight really some awesome people from the San Diego music scene, has been about half the shows. And then the other half have been people who I met. They're all personal to me. Nobody lines up interviews. They're all people that I've met either traveling through music or drinking with people, drinking tequila with people, or mezcal and music, a couple on there. And really just people, whether they're fans of music that I met at a show, or someone that was an event promoter or another DJ, someone I produced music with, and those are all the guests.
Yeah, and I love it how, I mean, it is a variety show for that reason. You have a lot of different people, and mine's like a little bit more restricted. I only have people that are DJs or producers. So it's cool that you're giving a lot more people the platform for self-expression. Yeah, it's awesome to hear that. And it's great for me to connect with people. Like, originally I wanted to do it after being inspired. Then I thought, well, what would be my thing? And I was like, oh, you know what? I've met all these people over the years. Yeah. And like, I meet them in a club, it's loud, whatever. And this would give me an opportunity to just hang out for a couple hours. Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel about this show. I feel that I want to get back to my community and my homies that are doing things. So awesome. It's great. And I want to mention how you always make me feel really comfortable in your show. So thank you for that. You're awesome, man. Awesome. Thank you. And thanks to everybody that's been on there. Yeah, and also for being so supportive as well. Like, I've never felt any competitive vibes. So I appreciate that.
Zero. There's two, you know, if you're doing something, this is for everybody. If you're doing something that you enjoy, in theory, you could just do it to satisfy yourself. We already talked about that a little. I think it's beyond that for most of us. But yeah, it's, you know, there's plenty of room for all this stuff. Exactly. We've got so much going on. Like, if you just take the positive vibes part, there's plenty of room for everybody.
Positive. In fact, I also like that you are an advocate for women's representation in the music industry.
I am.
And we talked about this in your show already. So do you think it's harder to find female artists to play in an event, or people just don't want to put in the effort to look for them?
For a while, I thought it was just harder. And then my friend, Jenny Shu, up in San Francisco, DJ Shuey, who has worked with me for the last few years on various events, maybe 15 events we've done together. She kind of helped me see, inadvertently, sort of helped me see that, like, you know, if there's 100 DJs in any given city and there's let's say 5 guys, 5 women, at least 5 women, let's just say, probably more, but let's just say there's that many that you would DJ with or having an event, something like that, the skill level. Mm-hmm. That's plenty. You don't need 100, you know, if you're just trying to book 2 for a show, right? So they are everywhere. And she kind of helped me see that, you know, it doesn't matter that there's less of them, which I do believe there's less of them in the industry in general. Too. There's reasons for that. We don't have enough time to go down that rabbit hole.
We could go 2 hours like we did.
Yeah, but I am an advocate of it, and as you know, part of that stems from my sister, who's a longtime supporter of women's rights, and she's a physicist and this kind of stuff.
And also your mom too.
Big time, yeah.
And
my mom also.
Yeah, shout out to your mom. She's awesome, and she raised a great man. And I see that you have really good relationships with females, because you just have this good energy that you project. Like and it's hard, especially for straight males, to have like a friendship with like a straight female, you know. Yeah. And you were able to do that.
Yeah, well, thanks. I mean, there's pressure. I think there's pressure from the person, like me as the guy, sometimes to understand how to do that, and it's something people have to learn. Mm-hmm. I truly think it's something you have to learn, because there's maybe some discomfort at some point, but it's another one of those things you can learn in life. And my mom was a great example setter for me, and her relationships with men as friends, things like that. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you recently had an event in San Francisco where you had a good balance of male and female artists. How did that go?
Oh, we had more female artists.
It was mostly female? Oh,
3.
Okay.
I was just saying, we had three ladies and then the 2 guys.
Hey.
Yeah, it was great. That was the Juice Night Out party, and Shuey helped put that together from Space Cowboys, and yeah, she's awesome. And you know, San Francisco, as you know, has a lot of support for a lot of diversity.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
Is that why you don't have events here in San Diego? Why do you always have them in San Francisco?
Well, you know, San Francisco loves to party, and I love to party in San Francisco. I've always had great parties there. We've had some in San Diego, and we'll do some more. We've got some things cooking with Cole and More Than Friends and other stuff. So you'll see some San Diego things.
Okay, great. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. And now I'd like to shift my focus on Juice Recordings. How did it originate, and what influenced you to create it?
I wanted to start a record label, an independent label, because I wanted to be able to release my own music and music of friends at the time, and without having to deal with any hurdles of shopping music, you know. Mm-hmm. And that's how it started. And
how did you come up with the name Juice?
When I was growing up, my father was he was like a managerial guy in a juice plant. Yeah, no lie. So that's how it came.
What type of juice?
That's what it came from. Orange juice.
Oh.
The original logo was not orange, but it has been sometimes it has been orange.
All right.
But yeah, that's where it came from. 100%.
And what is your goal with this brand?
Well, we have the label and parties, and just continuing to be able to release my music if it's something that I think is not going to flow quickly out on another outlet or another channel, something that I want to get out there, and that's kind of the business piece of it. You have to have a business associated with your music, because it like it or not, it's a product.
Yeah.
It's art, but it has legal things, so you have to have something own it, and so that's probably the main thing, is to allow me to have that mechanism and collect royalties and all this kind of stuff that goes along with that, legal things, blah blah blah.
Adulting.
Yeah, adulting, but it's got to be done. And if you're not doing it, you know, I'm not gonna scold anyone, but you need to learn about it if you're in music and you want to at least capture the money that you deserve. That's probably there anyway, and maybe you don't even realize it.
Get it?
So I think it's important. Yeah.
So what are some of the challenges you've faced in your career so far?
Challenges. Well, probably the biggest on the production side, shopping music, is always tough and always challenging. It always boils down really to just knowing people, taking the time and putting in the effort to know people face to face. I still think that's how almost all business gets done. Maybe people get found on YouTube or this or that, but I'll almost guarantee they at some point, meet deadmau5 in person or whatever before they do their album together, right? Like you often don't hear the backstory, but so that's on the production side. On the DJ side, there's always challenges with getting booked and finding bookings and this kind of stuff. But fortunately, the last 4 or 5 years, I haven't had to deal too much with that. But that's a struggle that you've got to go through and figure out what your way is to play the amount you want to play and what you think your value is and balance it with your production time. Yeah.
All right. So what is the most valuable thing you've learned about the industry with your years of experience?
The most valuable thing I've learned about the industry. Just make sure you do stuff that you're proud of. Yeah, that's the thing I can say the most. As long as you're proud of it, then, once you've finished it, whether it's a DJ set or a piece of music you're putting out or a clothing item, whatever goes along with the brand.
Put in your best work.
Yeah, just be proud of it and release it, and then at that point, whatever the world thinks of it, you can't control that. So learning that for me, and that's been a challenge, and I think I'm there now.
Yeah, I think your sound is like pretty funky, and I think
there's definitely a lot of funky vibes in there.
Yeah, and I don't hear it too often here in San Diego. Everything's mostly like house and techno.
I like a lot of groove for sure. Yeah,
I like it too. I like the groovy stuff.
Even if it's 4 on the floor straight, even my techno, I like it with like grooving bass lines in it, or grooving like electric lead lines, stuff like that. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome, that's awesome. Yeah, it's great because we need something different. I feel like sometimes you always hear the same stuff. So
yeah, it happens. It happens every now and then.
So what advice would you give a DJ or upcoming producer that wants to be successful in this industry?
Oh man, I think maybe that was my answer to the last question.
Oh yeah, maybe
was just be true to whatever it is you want to do.
Believe in yourself.
Yeah, believe in yourself and just don't be afraid to put things out. It's part of the reason I do the independent label. Not everything has been stellar. I go back and listen to some stuff and I'm like, oh man, we put that out, and I was like, whatever, it's not terrible, it's just whatever. But I think and just be cool with people and be real with people. Find what you're comfortable at, and if you're not comfortable with something, then you read a lot of books.
Yeah.
Get some books. Ask some friends.
Read some books.
How can I get better at being an extrovert or whatever? Like it takes these few things. Like some fundamentals.
Self-improvement.
You got to go out and talk to people. It's just the way it is.
That's one of the main ones that I've heard continuously. There's like establishing good connections, like meeting people, getting out there. Because ultimately, that's what it comes down to, I guess.
Yeah, and you're far better off. I'll tell you, I've worked with some of the same 10 people for more than 10 years. And those are just. And then I add to that, every few years or so, I'll find someone else that's younger or older or a different experience and kind of join the squad, and maybe someone falls out.
And then you have pizza parties?
But yeah, they got to be genuine connections. You can't force it,
Exactly.
Hang out, try for, no problem trying something new in terms of like be it networking or friendships. You got to push the edge a little bit. But, if 3, 4, 6 months goes by and it's just not the right vibe, move along.
You just leave it.
There's more people. Going.
Exactly.
There's more people, man.
I love that.
No one will be upset.
Exactly.
Just keep cool.
So I'd like to know more about your fascination with the Mexican culture. You've been spending a lot of time over there racing and surfing. How do you start getting involved in the whole like racing and surfing and all your activities over there?
So a really good friend of mine, his name's Michael Williams. I had him on maybe episode 30 something or so, Variety Shyo. We've known each other for a while, partied together, but he did an episode all on tequila.
Oh my God.
So at that time he was just living in Guadalajara casually, but now he's permanently down there, and got married, and he's chilling, his family down there now. So he invited me last year to go visit. I was blown away. I loved Guadalajara.
It's beautiful.
And then mid last year, then I started planning, he was kind of knocked the next wave of my sort of travel, work, music life to me and was like, hey man, you don't just come down to Guadalajara for like a month, 2 months. He's like, study some Spanish, just, relax a little bit. And it was cool. And I did. And I was really liked it. And then I found Puerto Escondido. And so as you know, this year off and on, I've been back and forth between the two, and I can do my work from anywhere. So it's cool.
And I hear
that's my fascination right now.
Yeah, and I hear that you're learning Spanish. Can you say something for me right now?
Yes, sí. Sí. Me corté mi pie. Hace, I don't know, hace una semana.
Oh, sí. Qué mal.
Sí. En el mar. Es un otro amigo. Otro surfista.
Hey,
Sí.
Good
En el
job.
mar.
Good job. Good job. Hey, that's not
Sí.
bad at all. So, I want to get into...
I'm told my accent is okay.
No, yeah, it's definitely not
For
bad.
gringo.
Yeah, it's not terrible, let me tell you. I think the more time you spend over there, like, you're going to get it.
Yeah, it helps. And it's a lot of fun, Scarlett. It really, learning
Learning,
is just fun.
yeah.
You like to learn, right?
Oh, yeah, I love learning. I mean, even when I was in Italy, I was putting my Italian to the test, and I was able to have conversations with people, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And it's always been fun to me at various times in life, but I never had the opportunity to go live somewhere and have fun with it.
Yeah.
And so just the intellectual aspect of learning the language, and all the frustration, humiliation. I mean, it's like going back to ground zero.
I know.
Most of the things I do in my life right now, like I've been doing a while, and I'm incrementally always able to get better and do things very quickly because I'm very experienced at them, right?
Exactly.
But not language. So like doing the Spanish thing, it's like I'm just 4 months in. So it's like,
Well, if you have any questions, you can hit me up. I'll do your homework. Okay, so I have a couple more questions left. Coming back to the topic of music.
yeah.
What are your thoughts on San Diego's electronic music scene? You can start with some positive stuff.
Yeah, it's all positive.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Like I said, there's always things that go up and down. I've avoided most, any of the drama stuff I've ever heard. I've avoided most all of it. Just try to go around it and focus on something else. A lot of positive things. I mean, like I said, I've had 35, 40 people from this scene, probably half of which I really didn't know well, other than saying hello maybe 10 times at a club here, and just fascinated by the depth of the history of the culture here, as well as, and that's in the older bracket generation. And then some great history there, and then some of them you've had on your show.
Yeah, I mean, even me, I pretty much met you at your show.
Yeah, exactly.
You
And then the
hit me
younger
up.
squad, that's generations, the other side for me, it's just great. Like their enthusiasm, throwing nights, they're having to learn the hard way that trying to do a night every Tuesday or whatever, maybe nobody really cares about how much effort you put in, and that can be, that helps you shape yourself. Yeah.
And is there anything that needs improvement?
No, I don't really know. There's a nice spectrum of promoters here. There's a nice spectrum of clubs, from Mega Club Omnia down to, Kava Lounge, all a good fun experience for what they do. So I think that's there. We've got a great variety of clubs, great variety of promoters, underground / commercial pop crossover, all in the electronic music sectors. I mean, it's all there. I think it's just, people, trying to stay out of each other's way and work together where they can
Collaborate,
and realize
man.
that's what's up.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't think it's too saturated, and we definitely have
Wow,
enough to do.
you're a first. I feel like a majority of people have said it's saturated.
Well, maybe, I don't know. For me, my perspective that maybe is from a little different angle is, out of the, let's say, 25 or 30 cities that I've traveled to and played in the U.S., and then maybe 10 more outside the U.S., a couple different countries, it's the same everywhere, that feeling. I can hear that from everybody everywhere, that there's so much
I
going.
think probably,
too much,
I think it's coming from people that throw events that feel
maybe.
like it's saturated.
Yeah. If you're in the business and that's how you feel, it's probably true, But that's economics, man. That's just the way it goes. Things crawl to the top. It takes time, and good ideas that are going to be commercially successful. They bubble to the top, and of course, effort is a lot there. Some luck for sure. I'm a big believer in luck too. It just happens, right place, right time sometimes, and then great ideas bubble to the top. I mean, that's just kind of the adulting, capitalism society we live in. But it is what we have, and it's free market. It's great, It's great we have the opportunity to do it,
I agree.
If your thing doesn't bubble up, you got to maybe rethink a little bit and try again.
Exactly. Just keep moving forward.
Yeah.
All right. I got the last question for you.
Hit me.
Describe your perfect taco.
En español or en inglés?
You can do it in Espanol. Whatever you feel. You're like, no, I don't know how to do it. Okay, just however you want it. Or you can do Spanglish.
Un taco. Un taco del pastor. That's my mi favorita.
That's your favorite?
Yeah, my favorite taco is probably, well, like in Mexico, everything in a tortilla, they basically call a taco. Pretty much. So, like, they've told me this. So, like, that's where I'm coming from, not making fun.
No, it's true. I mean, my mom can't live without tortillas. So.
Yeah. I mean, the most common question I get, people ask me, and I eat a lot of tortillas while I'm down there, but the most common question I get is you don't like tortillas? I'm like, dude, I eat like 4 a day already. But like 10 or 20.
It's not enough. You gotta
no,
eat
but the
more.
taco, my absolute favorite taco is, I have to say, it's from a little, it's from a puesto. Is that the little kind of side
yeah.
street cart kind of thing?
Tacos,
Puestos. There's one in Ensenada called Tacos El Phoenix, spelled F-E-N-I-X.
Okay,
it's a proper fried fish taco with, that's the one.
Damn.
Little habanero sauce on it.
Damn, now I want tacos. Why are you doing this? All right. Well, thank you so much for your time here. I've had a blast. I wish we could go 2 hours like in your show.
Yeah, no worries.
But we're keeping it short and sweet. And it's time to hear the rest of your mix.
Yeah.
And we will be back in less than 10 minutes with just some finalism questions. So
it's
don't go
awesome
anywhere.
being here. Let's keep rocking.
Yeah,
Scarlett.
let's keep doing this. We'll be back soon, people.
Hey,
humans. Here we are once again. And I'd like to ask you, do you remember an event that you totally bombed, that something just went wrong?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, you're asking me?
No, the Post Malone in the background.
Yeah. One time, there's been a few, but one time, Vinyl Days, I'll give you one of those real quick. I was doing a DJ competition, and that was actually when I did a little turntablism stuff, and I smashed the, hit the tone arm with my elbow. Just total everything stopped. Yeah, and I was already nervous on top of it because it was kind of like my early days of DJing. So yeah,
that happened
a good crowd.
Yeah, that happened to me too. Like my whole system stopped. I think that's like the worst one because then I got booed and stuff. So.
That's probably the worst bomb. And then later on in life, I learned because it's happened a few other times, even in the digital era, like someone else bumps the deck, pops it or something, or it starts looping or whatever. And then I realized this turned this into like a party rocking opportunity. And either pick up the mic or just yell at everybody.
You start like emceeing, like, hey, party people.
Throw out some glow sticks.
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah.
So what does the future hold for Wes Smith?
Oh, a lot more music, of course. I got the album coming out, as I mentioned in the little intro to the mix there. It'll go with my Mexico theme and the racing cars down there. Bochito Loco.
I love it.
It's going to be the name of the album, and the artwork's going to be really cool. It's going to be done by my guy Sumo Fish out of the Bay Area that does a lot of the Asian-looking hybrid shirts you've seen me wear before.
Yeah.
Like the sumo basketball player, stuff like that. So that I'm looking forward to that. That'll be a couple months. We'll get it out into summer or early just after that.
So exciting.
In line with some other events. So that's definitely coming out. And then we'll have our 500th release coming up on Juice later in the year. And that'll probably, one of the songs off the album will probably be the 500th song.
Oh.
Not by mistake.
Oh my God. What are the odds?
Yeah, right. So that'll be exciting. Looking forward to that. And again, the release with, one of the other things I do want to make sure I mention, I talked about the Disco Avenger release coming out. It's a single with 2 remixes, one from Colvasalo, one from More Than Friends, both San Diego guys. And that's something I'm putting a lot more effort into is on things I'm going to release as singles is really looking out for, right now, West Coast, San Diego and West Coast, all the way up to Vancouver, places that have good followings, to do remixes and collab on stuff. So that's something I haven't focused particularly on the West Coast to do in the past, and really want to do that and just collect some different sounds, regardless of genres and stuff.
I love
That's what I'm up to.
And any last shout-outs?
Oh, man. Shout out to you, Scarlett.
Hey.
Shout out to you. Shout out to my mom.
Yeah, shout out to the mom. Hey, I love you.
Shout out to my sister, Elizabeth, the physicist, for always inspiring me and helping me become a good guy.
Yeah,
be cool,
you are. You're awesome,
people,
man. Thank you for doing what you do and for being the person that you are.
Shout out to anybody who's ever, we've interacted through music and the San Diego scene. And
San Diego. Yeah, it's good to be back. I love you, San Diego. Yep. Thanks to everyone who tuned in tonight. I will be uploading the full show and interview on my YouTube channel soon. So have a great night, everyone. See you all at Pride this weekend.
Have fun.
Peace.
Yeah.